The good people of Charlottesville want to thank y'all for protecting us that day. Me especially.
Thank you so much.
Me especially when the police failed to provide equal protections. If it wasn't for you guys, then we know it would have probably been a million times worse than what it really was.
So
and they know that. They know that, even though they want to file claims against militias or whatever. Had they did their job and not stood down and not have taken orders, what police fail to understand is that they're not immune from protections when in uniform. And so if they felt that you guys were doing something out of line, then why didn't they step in that day? Why the lawsuit? As a citizen of Charlottesville, I say that they filed the lawsuit to basically point blame at you guys to remove the blame off themselves.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tanesha. Well said.
The way we look at this lawsuit is that it's not just about us. This is a constitutional violation, a constitutional restriction that they're trying to enforce on the general public. So that's why we're here.
It's incredibly apparent that we have no ill intention. We do recognize the fact that the country's very polarized right now, and we cannot keep ignoring that fact. And people like these guys here are the type of people that are going to stand up and they're going to address that fact.
We're having a very complicated discussion about arms in this town as a result. And just from my perspective, and this is me sharing what people have told me, what was, and take this as feedback, I suppose, what was off-putting was we knew that they were coming for violence. We knew that these characters were coming. We saw the night before that they initiated gross violence against unarmed, innocent people who were expressing their First Amendment rights. And so what we saw was a bunch of people who had their backs to them watching out into the streets.
Yeah.
And so, and very highly armed. And I'm not here to tactics
I think
police
that's mistaken
you.
because the pictures clearly show the way we were set up was alternated, one facing one direction, the next facing the other. We alternated. Yeah.
Yeah, while I was carrying, I stayed away from the front lines because I felt like bringing a gun into that situation as a leftist and as somebody who has been specifically targeted by the neo-Nazi groups was a bad idea. But I found that I tried to stay away from the front lines and ended up 10 or 15 feet away from the James Fields attack.
I got point.
At that point, I was very grateful to be armed because had he come out of that car with a gun to shoot up the group, I was going to be the only person there that would have been able to stop him.
Well, I think we can all agree that was a terrible day.
It was hard. It was hard. I'm so sorry for your village. I'm so sorry for your town, for your community members. I walked around the day before looking at this community and I said, this is such a beautiful community. I met so many people there. Everybody was so willing to talk, and then to see that horror the day after. Christian and I had nightmares.
Yeah.
Nightmares for weeks after that. So I'm sorry that happened to you guys.
Thank you.
I really am.
Actually, that means nothing.
Truly,
so thank you.
We
Thank you for coming and playing the role in the way that you all do that. So.
We just wish we could have done that.
So, all right. Good luck to you.
What was your name?
I'm Anne Marie.
George Curbelo.
Nice to meet you, George.
Thank
I
you.
totally recognized you.
I recognized you too.
All right.
There's lawsuits from every direction. We want to be as transparent as possible. I don't think that anybody from the clergy team is going to hold the militia responsible because we know that they were the only people that were out there helping us that day. And that does make a difference. It was 20 of them and it was 200 cops. And it was cops in armor gear that should have been in the middle of the street. And after going to court and realizing that Zone 5, which was Market Street, was supposed to be covered by the police and it wasn't, that says a lot about why are you suing these men when they were the only protection in Zone 5. None of the police were in Zone 5. So there's a lot of unanswered questions that needs to be discussed. It would be hard for me to sit here and say that y'all neo-Nazis when you got people that's Puerto Rican in your group. I mean, I'm pretty sure that y'all just don't blend with them, So it's hard to say, that you represent something when you clearly don't look like them. Because little do y'all know, the Puerto Ricans, they just as black as me, some of them. So to even, stereotype that way, that's one of the issues on why we have the racial tensions in Charlottesville that we have today is because of people not having an open mind.
I have to apologize to the community that's here. We're sorry we could not do more for you. All of us, when we drove away, there was very, very little conversation in the cars and in the caravan of cars that left this area. We were horrified when we heard that there was a state of emergency declared. And then we were horrified when we heard about the monster that mowed down the people here in Charlotte. Horrified. We apologize to you for not being able to do more.
You don't owe us an apology.
Yes, we do.
It wasn't your fault. It was our fault because
No.
if y'all hadn't did more, it could have been a whole lot more deaths.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
The city continues to blame everybody except themselves. And if this group wasn't there standing on the wall outside of Emancipation Park, I need everybody to think about what would have happened when you have police hiding behind pens and then finding out.
We want you guys to welcome us. We want you guys to be more like us. Because when the people come together as a whole, just like Tanesha said, you know, Richard Spencer and Kessler and their cronies, they can gather up here in the park and run their mouths. But if the entire city of Charlottesville shows up and says, hey, you're out of here, there ain't going to be nothing the police or anybody else can do to stop you.
That's what we have to do.
And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. And that's why a lot of police departments are very skeptical of us, because we represent that. We represent that coming together of people. So we try to put out a message that, look, the people need to get together. The people need to stand together. And if you don't want those people in your city, then you guys got to come together as a people. You know, and what we did that day, all we did was planted a seed. You guys got to make it grow.